Hi everyone and welcome to a new vlog at Casino by Her. Today I'm going to introduce you to a new concept and a new serie which is called 5 Days, 5 New Faces. And the whole purpose and concept of this series is to introduce you to a lot of people that work within iGaming. And today I chose to start with a person that have been and of course still is a role model for me. She is female, she's empowering, and she's very young as well, just like me. And she's been climbing the ladder very quickly. So I'm gonna give her a call and I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you guys. And hopefully she has a lot of fun insights and also some inspiration for you if you want to pursue a career within iGaming, or if you're already in iGaming. I'm sure that you can learn a lot from Rhi Burns as well. Why don't we just start with, how did you come to Malta? What did your journey look like?
Yeah, I kind of ended up in iGaming and in Malta a bit by accident. I lived in a very small village in England. Mm-hmm. And when I was around 18, my parents split up. So I really needed to get a job and start kind of contributing to the household a bit more. And the only company in my little town hiring was the betting shop. It was Labrooks. So like the high street bookmakers. I never had gambled in my life. I had no idea about like betting shops or gambling, but I walked in, asked for a job, and that's really where it started. Started as just a cashier in the bookmaker, like part-time, 18 years old. And I think within a year, I was managing a shop full-time. It was like my first proper job. And I mean, you can kind of pick up the industry quite quickly. It was very horse racing focused, so it was fun to learn a bit about horses and about betting and racing in general. And you meet some very interesting characters when you're face to face with the punters. Yeah. I think like if you can deal with gamblers face to face, like you can deal with anything in life. Yeah. But it was good. It was a fun way into an industry that otherwise I'd never even heard of. Then from there, I moved to Betfair. It was around the time when gambling was kind of going more and more online. There were less people coming into the betting shops. Everybody wanted to bet online. So I moved to Betfair. And then from Betfair is when I heard about Malta. Like they had a little office on this tiny little island. And I needed,
in the middle of nowhere, like where is this paradise island anyway?
Exactly. We never even heard of the place before. But yeah, I decided that I needed some sunshine in my life and a bit of a change from like dreary English weather. Yeah. So yeah, I came here for like a 4-day vacation just to see what it's like. It really fits all, like everything that I wanted. Everyone speaks English, the weather is good. And then the industry here, like getting a job would have been super easy already. With like 3 or 4 years experience, it would have been very easy to get a job. So yeah, I just hopped over with 1 month's salary in my pocket and 1 suitcase, and thought try it for a year, see how it goes. But now it's 10 years in Malta this year, I think. So I guess it worked out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's kind of the same story as many other people. You say that, okay, let's go there for 6 months or 1 year, like let's see what everybody's talking about, and then suddenly, whoops, there goes 6 years.
Exactly. Yeah, still here.
I have 6 years or 6.5 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
yeah,
really
it's long.
Where, like, what did I do? Like you can see, like, follow the career path and look back into certain memories, but otherwise it's just like time just
goes so quickly.
Yeah,
that's it. I think like I see a lot of people coming here, and I think either you leave after 2 years or you stay like forever, basically. Like if you manage 3 years here, then you're going to be here for at least like 6-10 years. It's a funny place, but life is easy here. I like that. Like so much less stress, and just in general everyone's much more social. The weather is so much better. It's good.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely beautiful, you have to say that. And I mean, so when you came to Malta, I assumed that there weren't even less females in the industry. And I know you have been frequently posted on, LinkedIn, or, some kind of stupid and harsh comments from men throughout. So I wanted to, just ask a little bit about that. How did you become such a strong, independent woman? I mean, it sounds like such a cliche, but in certain industries it's not really. So
yeah, it's definitely been tough. And the first like 3 or 4 years in the industry when I was in England, they were the worst. It was just men. I was at Betfair, there was like, I was in customer support, so there was maybe 40 people and maybe 2 of us were female. The rest was just men. And it was very much like you had to become one of the guys to fit in. Like you had to be just as, I don't know, loud and you like crass and rude. And I found myself like becoming someone different just to fit in and just to be noticed, which I don't like. I don't like coming into work every day and pretending to be something else, because it's not really, you can't feel super proud of what you're doing every day if you're kind of acting up to fit in with everyone else. So it took a few years of kind of trying out different personalities, I guess. But in the end, once I was in Malta, just in general, I was a bit older by then, like 21, 22, started realizing that, just be yourself, and you can, you can get upset by the things people say or the way people treat you or that people look down on you, and you can either, like, I don't know, scream back at them, or you can just get on with your shit, like be yourself, work hard every day. And it took a while. It took me like 14 years, I guess, to get to somewhere where I feel like I've actually achieved something and that I'm taken seriously. But it's definitely worth not compromising like on who you are and how you want to do things. So I think being comfortable with yourself, and just, it can be tough because especially when it's clients or employees, either, and there's so many different ways that they can come at you. They can either kind of put you down, they can ignore you, you can have like unwanted advances, and all of these things are horrible to deal with. But if you just don't put up with it, don't think that it's normal and it's fine and you have to be quiet, just be true to yourself and you get there eventually. And you can feel proud of yourself at the end of the day. Like I didn't become like them.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, when I speak to a lot of men about, feminism and stuff like that within this industry, I usually say that I'm not a feminist in that sense, because people, they get so aggressive when they say the word feminist.
Yeah.
So I usually just say that I believe in each individual, that men and women have the exact same rights, and just not focus on that women should have the same rights, and, in this industry, because I usually find that men, relax a little bit more and we want to listen. And I think it's so important that we have more females, to get the diversity in this industry, and also to, and also the women that are in the industry, they have to be really tough, as you mentioned. You really have to be one of the guys and pamper and find yourself a spot. But
and I think it's so important because, like, even like when it comes to like the end users, the players, at the end of the day, like, women make up a big chunk of especially casino players, and they're valuable players. So if you don't have women inside the company representing that audience, you're never going to understand the audience and you're never going to make the best of it. So like, the industry needs to be much more welcoming to different people, whether it's women, different nationalities. Like, in general, it needs to be like much more open. But we're getting there. I think over the years I see improvements all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to praise, I mean, there are so many companies out there, who are working strongly for this as well. And I mean, I see more and more women taking, high positions as well, which is very nice to see. And I think it's very empowering to see that, just me and you having this call, like, we usually don't hang out on our spare time. We barely have met. And I mean, we haven't really.
But exactly.
Like you and I followed, so I think we kind of, keep an eye on each other. And I think that's really important to do so.
Yeah, definitely. And this is like a really nice way of bringing together women that they're aware of each other, but maybe they just haven't had the chance to organically kind of get together or whatever. This is a really nice way of bringing people together, and like, it's sharing experiences. Like, we wouldn't normally get to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I find it, it's some kind of, there are some kind of networking events, or dinners and stuff, but the older you get, at least what I feel, like, the less I feel like, you might want to go to these kind of gatherings, speak about business, on a Friday evening when you're tired and you just want to, go home.
Exactly. It's fine when you're like 18, but now I think the work-life balance is so important. And yeah, just going for the sake of meeting people. I don't know. Yeah, I'm the same. I feel less and less
then it's
like I want to do that every Friday.
yeah, and then it's just fine to have a call like this, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe if you post a video online, you know, and there's going to be someone else out there who's going to look at this and, okay, this sounds pretty nice, you know, or
Exactly.
and join these kind of calls and you know, maybe
Yeah.
contact me personally, you know, so it's another way of connecting a network.
Yeah. And definitely now with all this craziness in the world, like it's perfect to find better ways of connecting. Now we can't have events and conferences right now, and who
Exactly.
knows when they'll even come back. So yeah, this is really nice.
We'll see. But so okay, so you, since I know you, we used to work way back at Catena a little bit when you were head of sales, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
if I'm correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we just worked very short time, and then had the accounts manager or affiliate manager taking over when you.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been doing since? You know, I mean, that's quite some time ago, but still.
Yeah, Catena was great. That was where I really kind of figured out what I wanted to do career-wise. Instead of just kind of ending up in certain positions, I really realized that like sales, relationship building, and kind of management was what I really wanted to focus on. So I grew as much as I could at Catena, and it was a really fun 4 years. But then from there, I wanted basically the next step up. So from head of sales, I wanted a much more like operational management position where I could make real change in a company. I also love small companies, like joining a startup like Catena was when I joined, and kind of being part of that growth. Then once it becomes super corporate, it's not really for me anymore. So Catena had got to that point where it was a big company. I couldn't really do anything more. Zimpler came along. It's a very, very small company. They've been around for a few years, so like the trust is there, or like the security, but they're still very small, very much in startup phase. And they had a kind of an operational, a C-level position available. So I thought I'd come and try my hand at this, like growing something again from small and seeing if we can make it to the next big thing. It's been a year now, just over at Zimpler, like working away in the background, trying to get it into more into the mainstream.
Yeah. And about Zimpler, I mean, tell me a little bit more about it. You know, the people you don't know what Zimpler is, and you know, other customers out there, like, what is Zimpler, basically?
Yes, so Zimpler is an online payment method. In the past, they've been a very small payments company. They had a kind of an online wallet solution that most casinos have in their cashier, usually in bottom position, not really doing very much. So payments is what we're doing. The past year, we started to focus more on instant bank transfers. So markets like Sweden, Finland, they're very bank transfer heavy. Players can make instant transactions. They don't need to use their cards. And there was only really one payment method at the time offering these instant bank transfers. And they had a monopoly, so they were coming in very expensive. Why not when you're the only one? So we wanted to come in with the product that does the same thing, but at a fraction of the price. That's been our mission, is taking on the monopoly, trying to bring prices down and be a bit more less corporate, like more flexible, more human interactions with our merchants. So it's been online bank transfers, and bringing costs down is our passion.
Do you have any like big operators that you're currently working with that you want?
Yeah, with our new bank method, you can find us on BetHard, video slots. We're also working some with Casumo and Betson. They're probably the biggest names we have right now, and we're working on many others. But you will find Zimpler in most cashiers somewhere. We're just trying to become more of the main payment operator.
But that's great. I mean, they have you on board, so I guess that's your focus.
We're taking some strides. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, are you still alone in Malta? Because when you started Zimpler, I think you were the first person who actually were located.
Yeah, exactly. I was the first one. Now we are two. I just hired an account manager 2 weeks ago. She joined, so now we've doubled in size. We're 2 people. It's nice. We're still don't have a set office space or anything, so we're working from home, which has been a learning curve as well, but I think it's been very good. I was kind of ready really for this pandemic because I was from home every day anyway.
You just had the corona way back.
Yeah, exactly. It's just no change for me. But yeah, we're 2 people now, and hopefully the plan is to grow the operations more here in Malta. We have our kind of tech and development in Sweden, and the idea is that we'll have like sales and account management, everything client facing on the island. So hopefully a few more people this year.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, after all, I mean, why all the people have their, affiliate teams or, operations in Malta, because you can just, go across the street and meet someone from.
Exactly. I think like there's a lot you can do online, but when it comes to clients, it's really handy being here. Like if something does go wrong, like you say, you can just rush over for a coffee, you can take them out for the odd lunch and dinner. It definitely helps. So yeah, we've seen a big improvement since I joined. So yeah, it's fun.
I mean, even if it's so convenient, to sit and speak online, it's always so nice to have a face, just a quick coffee and, just to hear the tone of the voice, like.
Exactly.
This person really. I mean, it changes everything.
For sure.
What would you say is the most challenging part about your new position, your role?
Yeah, I would say definitely the change from affiliation to payments has been the biggest struggle. I worked in sales for Catena, but it's not really a sales job when the casinos, they come to you every day. You don't have to go out convincing anyone. Especially at Catena, it's the biggest affiliate. It's not really such a tough sales job. And then you come to a payment provider, and it's like getting someone to reply to your emails is so hard. You have to really, it's much more like sales focused and a lot more trying to build things up from the beginning. So definitely that switch from being super in demand to being the one like going out and just being on the front lines selling has been the biggest change.
Basically.
Yeah, but it's been good. It's been like character building definitely, and you learn a lot. And I think also the dynamic with the client is a bit different at Catena. Although they really want what you're selling, the casinos, they do get frustrated with how much you're charging. They feel a bit kind of held to ransom. Whereas with Zimpler, we come in, we're cutting costs. So it's a much more like equal relationship, or the casinos are much happier with the kind of sales that you do when you're at the payment provider, because you're there to help them save money instead of trying to get a CPA as high as you can. So it's
it's 2 very different jobs, so to speak. So I can understand the transition.
It was Sorry?
I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun, and I'm very happy in this role with Zimpler. Like it's nice to be back in the kind of the startup where everything is a bit of a struggle. Every day there's something new to try, and you have to change direction once every 3 months, but it's fun. And you really see the difference that you're making much more when it's so small. Like every new client that we bring on board is like a game changer for the company. So yeah, it's hard work, but it's fun.
Yeah. And another thing that I really wanted to ask you about, if there's nothing else that you want to, mention about Zimpler or.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot about, the younger generation, which I spoke a little bit about before, like, so if, they want to become the next Rhi, do you have any advice for them? Like, let's say you start with an iGaming work within customer support, but you're dreaming of pursuing a career within iGaming. And which kind of advice would you give?
Yeah, that's really nice. I would definitely say, for one thing, don't kind of sit around and wait for anyone to help you. And it's great if you can have a mentor or a manager that helps you grow, but you can't always rely on that. So definitely be proactive. If you want to go further, there's loads of free online courses. It can be like specific gaming related, or it can be something a bit broader like sales or account management. Like
marketing.
Read a lot of Exactly, marketing. So do courses, read books, like educate yourself in your spare time. That will really help you when it comes to then like applying or putting yourself forward for new positions. And I would say also, don't be scared just because you don't tick every box in a job description or whatever, a job ad. Don't hold back from applying. If you feel like you can do this, if you feel like you can learn on the job but be good at this, then you should go for it. Don't like, I think definitely for women is something, I think there are studies that show women only apply if they believe they tick all of the boxes, whereas men will apply if they tick 50%. And definitely you should do that. Put yourself forward. Maybe you don't have this one trait, but maybe you have 2 others that are much better. So definitely be proactive and just go for it. Even if you feel like, yeah, you're not a perfect match, if that's the job you want, just go for it. Maybe you don't get it, but maybe you'll learn something in the interview process anyway. So yeah, definitely you have to be your own champion, I think, a lot of the time. So don't be afraid to do that. And also, like, ask your manager and stuff for a career plan. There's no shame in saying, like, I want more. I will obviously do a good job in what I'm doing, but tell me what I need to do to come to the next level. So yeah, ask for help. There's no shame.
It's a really, really good advice. And I also think for as a company, I mean, you have to have a very clear set plan for your employees as well. You're always going to have employees that will, they're really happy with the job, and they don't want to do anything else, and you have people you hire that really want to run, and they want to run fast. Like, what can I do now? And
yeah,
be able to set time to really identify these individuals, that's different targets and goals for them.
mm-hmm.
And otherwise, which we also see is a very big trend, you lose people, you lose employees, but I think it's like a record in Malta, with an idea.
Exactly.
You just move around.
Yeah, it's so easy.
And if you want to really keep the best employees that you have, you really, really need to make sure that they, have a career plan in front of them. Otherwise, they're going to go somewhere else.
And exactly, I completely agree. And I think that's like one of the most important things as a manager is you can have your own management style, but you need to adjust the way you deal with each of your team. Like you say, the people that are kind of happy with their day-to-day, that's great. Make sure that they continue being happy with their day-to-day, but the ones that want to do more, you need to make sure that you have a plan for them. And you shouldn't be afraid to improve your team. Okay, maybe it means eventually they'll leave for something more, but that should be like a win for you. Like, you helped this person grow, you had a great 3 years with them, and then they went on to be like something even better. Like, it's a good thing. And they're much more likely to be loyal though if they're getting what they need from you. So I think it's super important as a manager.
Yeah. And also, as you said it, which I also think is very important, like if you're like yourself, managing a big team, different personalities, and set goals, etc. And if someone leaves, it's very key to look back at the time and see like you had such a great time, and also that let go. It's fine that people actually leave in certain senses, and just be proud of that individual.
Yeah. Hopefully you've helped them grow over that time, and they'll leave with good memories and stuff. It's something I really realized like when I was at Catena and I had this big team for the first 2 years. Like, I didn't really take any vacation. I was always busy and stressed. There was always stuff to do. And then my boss Klaus, he said to me, like, you need to learn to delegate more. Like, you need to get to know your team, see like who wants what from the job and who's good at what, and start trusting them more. And as soon as I started giving more and more tasks to each of the team members, we learned like which areas, which account managers were strong in, what they enjoyed. And it was like game changing for all of us. I could take vacations without worrying that the entire company would collapse, and all of the team grew from taking on like a lot more of my tasks. So then you have such a better dynamic in the team. Everyone feels trusted, everyone feels like they're important and valued. And then like you can take a vacation and just switch off. It's so good. It's good for everyone.
I mean, I remember, like when I started working with Clement, I hope I say his name right.
Yep.
I didn't, but he always praised you so much, like such a good, great team manager, and you have a really, really good reputation. Everybody that I speak with always, praise you as a very, very strong business woman, and that you're very fair, and but that you are like, later on, like you didn't want to go to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
You're around much, but that's perfectly good because you trusted your team. Like you go, you Do you work same
Exactly.
conferences
I
now
think
in the background?
that's it. And they always did a great job. Like I did the shows for so many years, and you go and in the end, I'd rather step back, let them take that kind of side of things, and whereas I can then worry about like budgets and targets and planning and do all of the stuff that probably is a bit more boring, but it's super crucial for the business, and those guys can go out and be the face. Because they're the ones that are doing the best job. So I'm super happy to hear that. They were such a good team. I miss them every day.
Yeah. Well, too far away though.
Yeah, exactly. We still check in.
Yeah, have after work or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what left? I wanted to have 4 fast questions with you as well. So I want to choose from, what would you suggest, or what would you like to work from home, or would you want to go back to work from the office? I mean, now we have the pandemic and everything, but what would you prefer? Do you prefer?
I say work from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, especially when it's a bigger company, like I never got anything done at Catena because there's 400 people. People want your attention. You're sitting at the desk. They'll just come by, ask you a quick question. Whereas when you're from home, you can focus. You can log out from Slack for a few hours, get some work done. Then you can log in and spend time on people. So work from home, much more productive.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be like the trend for the future?
I hope so. I hope there's at least the option, and even things like reduced rent costs for offices, less pollution from people commuting. There's so many benefits, and I think if you feel more productive from home, there should be no problem for your employer.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I'm also working from home, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
For set hours or flexible hours, and then that you don't have to be in the office at 8 in the morning and you have to leave at 4 or 5. That you have to come in at 10 and work to 7, or what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think in general, flexible hours. I think as long as you get the work done, it shouldn't really matter when. Although the only time I'd maybe question that is if you're in a client-facing position. If you're answering questions from clients, then you kind of have to match